I felt for the people working at like the pizza place, that kind of shit.
They were doing like what 600 people a day.
Yeah, like that fucking sucks. And then the fine dining restaurant Monzo, like that was super busy every day, and like we were busy, but it was such a small restaurant, and the bar was so small that like you weren't that busy. Like you were busy, but you weren't that busy. And I ended up quitting there because I got. The chef there, I have no problem saying it. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Okay, who's this?
His name is Dave Pasternak, which he's like super respected as like the fish guy in New York, the chef, and like he's very talented with fish and the simplicity, but he's a misogynistic, fucking womanizing piece of shit, and he treats people like garbage. And he burned my face with a fucking hot saute pan in Italy in front of guests.
Yeah,
and like I almost got in a fucking physical fight with him because I'm a big guy, and like at the time I was even like bigger in weight, and like I ended up fucking just walking out, and he followed me downstairs, and we just got in a fucking screaming match. And then I went to HR to file a complaint, because I walked out, and they just fucking B&B Hospitality just swept it under the rug.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't do shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this man is still representing himself?
I don't think so. I think
after that whole Batali shit, he got taken down with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he got moved out at that point.
Gotcha.
Because that was like, I'm sure there was other cases than just mine. Like, it can't be the only person.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's crazy. So when you walked out of that company, basically?
Yep.
Like, okay. And did you have to, like, when you filed with HR, how long was that process?
It wasn't long. Like, they got back to me super quick, and they basically said, well, like, there's two different stories.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, there's always going to be two different stories. Like,
100%.
No one's going to want to get fired as the chef and say, like, oh, yeah, like, I totally burned this person's face.
Yeah. Very true. So, what's your next move?
After that?
Yeah, right after
I ended up going back to Westchester and working for these folks who worked at Maialino for Meyer. And they were a super fun team. They had this restaurant called North in Armonk, New York.
Yeah. And
they were they're still, very wonderful people. And they've come to Austin and have eaten at restaurants that I've worked at. And, it was a very good, they were a very, farm to table restaurant. So,
yeah.
Up there, there's so much locality of readily available farms to work with. And so, I was back into that kind of thing, which was really exciting for me. And then I ended up just packing up and moving to LA.
Yeah. Gotcha. Just packed up and moved to LA.
Yeah.
You know anybody over there?
Yeah, I knew this girl.
So you moved for a girl.
Yeah.
That's what always happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved for a girl. Where in LA?
I moved to Santa Monica.
Damn! I want to live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, if you're to move to Los Angeles,
don't want to live anywhere else.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Gotta go to there. Yeah, I actually used to work with her sister. So her sister was a general manager at Terry Lodge and then this restaurant North, and that's how I got the job there. So I knew her younger sister, and so we ended up started, whatever. And I just took a whim and I just moved out there, and I moved in with her.
Yeah, right in.
Oh yeah, because I had nowhere else to fucking go.
Heard that? Okay, so.
And then I was like a fucking bum there, because I was living with this person where at any point in time they could just tell me to get the fuck out of their life, and it which eventually that happened. But,
the way he tells the story is funny, people. Not what's happening in the story. Okay, I noticed myself laughing. And I'm like,
oh no, it's funny. Like there's
funny.
nothing like. Even at the time, it's still like humorous. Like my dad thought I was fucking crazy. He was just laughing at me. He's like, "Okay, this is gonna work out."
Yeah, and you were like, "Come on, Dad." So you're out there and you're working for North.
No, out there in LA, I worked at Animal. I ended up getting a job at Animal.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I worked at some other places, but before very short period of time because I was waiting for a job at Animal.
Yeah.
And then I ended up working there.
Did you know John and Vinny?
No, so I knew the chef Michael Magliano, who was the CDC there. He's just opened, I think it's like Gusto Green or Gusto. It's like a cannabis restaurant. Have you heard about this?
Where is it?
It's in downtown LA, I think. And it's like, hemp and cannabis and stuff like that. But I don't really know if it's like you get like super fucked up or not.
They're just putting their cards in the game for when it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
but
so.
I don't know, man. I don't think anybody's thinking about the dram shop laws that are going to come with letting people get fucked up on edibles at your restaurant.
Yeah, I don't see
like,
how that's.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I
love
it, but like, and I fucking smoke and drive all the time. But
yeah,
that shit is dangerous.
So does a lot of people in California, or just in
general,
everywhere,
dude. Yeah, the
Northeast.
That's what you did. You always had to go on blunt cruises because you couldn't smoke in.
Yeah, you had to. You had to. No, I used to do it on the way to school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, then your window, you're like the Ozium.
Yeah, just parking in some fucking desolate area, listening to like Method Man and Redman, smoking weed in some fucking area in New Hampshire, like super backwoods, like
or the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, there's something
best
so
place
fucking
to
ghetto,
fucking
dude.
smoke weed. So you start working at Animal. What position do you come in as?
I ended up like working the grill, like, and then like I guess middle, which was like torn on, and I fucking loved working there. It was such a different thing. Like you're working in like a t-shirt and shorts in a kitchen. You're like, what the fuck is this place? And like,
really,
yeah,
you
like
wear whatever you wanted.
I walked in and like the first thing I saw was like when I met. John and Vinny, and I'm sure they don't give a shit for me saying this, but like they were totally like rolling a joint or cutting up a bag between each other, like, and it was so surreal just to see like nonchalantly like just weed in front of you, like as you're starting your first day, and it was great. Like I got to be there when like Bourdain came through for like some new show, and I think it was like Layover or some shit.
Yeah.
And they're just really great guys to work for. Like they're also mentors. Like everything in Animal came from, the farmers markets, and they taught me so much about cooking food that you love, like food that really interests you.
Yeah.
So like if your food is glutton for punishment, like Animal was, like, I mean, they opened up a pork-centric restaurant in a Jewish neighborhood. Like on Fairfax, like next to Canner's Deli. It's like pretty funny, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And they just blew up, man. Like they stuck at it. They they were super young. I think they were like 25 when they opened Animal.
Yeah.
And so I worked there, and then they opened up a fish restaurant called Son of a Gun. And so I was contemplating leaving LA to move to San Francisco. And so I did some stages out there. But then I ended up doing catering for John and Vinny.
Okay.
Because they started as a catering company. And that was pretty cool because you go to like celebrity houses and like you make good money doing that. And then I ended up being a sous chef at Son of a Gun, which was really an even better experience,
Yeah.
I learned so much about fish. You know, I had another mentor, and you know, now a best friend, Frank Anderson, and you know, I learned a lot. Like I really love living in LA.
Yeah.
You know,
awesome. At that time, when you were working, where were you eating?
Shit, man, it wasn't like it was now. Like,
yeah,
Jelena, and like in Venice, like that was a huge, like, good restaurant to eat at. You know, everything comes from the markets there, and super simple, delicious.
Yeah.
You know, I ate at Rustic Canyon.
Sweet.
When Funky was the chef there.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Bucato opened when he did his pizza or pasta restaurant, and I got to eat there too. And then you go eat at, like, you know, eat at Nancy Silverton restaurants like Osteria and Mozza and stuff like that, and it was really fucking good, man.
Yeah.
You know, fuck, man, I don't remember. Like, you would eat at, like, Susan Gowen's restaurants and stuff like that, or, you know, fine dining, you know, like, Inc. Like, you go to Michael Vitaggio restaurant to try it out, you know, like, when that existed. Or you go, like, where Felix is now used to be a restaurant called Joe's, and it was a fine dining restaurant.
Okay.
And that kitchen, I think that's in, like, that chef movie. That's the original kitchen to Joe's before they tore it down. Because I staged there to be, like, the CDC at one point there. After, I think, between Animal and Son of a Gun.
Yeah.
And, just another, you know, hidden gem back then. I'm trying to think, like, where else was it? There was just, like, some other things, like some other chefs would come down from San Francisco, like, young, and they would open up something, and then it would disappear. And like Providence with Michael Cimarusti.
Yeah.
Like, still a great meal.
That place turns out great cooks.
Yeah.
Everyone that I worked with from there was amazing.
Ellen Bennett.
Bennett, yeah.
She worked there.
Yeah, she worked there a long time before she started making aprons. So she worked with a friend of mine called Howard, named Howard Coe. And I remember when she was, like, first starting to blow up, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's my homegirl. I worked with her on the station. She made aprons."
Yeah, I got, like, one of the original aprons.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, she came in and gave it to like Son of a Gun and Animal.
Yeah.
To grow her brand, and like, so I had one of those original ones, and but yeah, like, crazy. Yeah, he pumps out good, you know, like, he's super nice guy, and, like, you know, super hardworking and knows his shit, and, like, yeah. So for LA, like, that was, you know, then, you know, you have to go to Spago, like, while you're living in LA.
100%.
There was a restaurant called Sourdough that was like Neapolitan pizza that was really good. Shit, I don't know.
I think we got.
That's it. That was literally it, though.
You're like, shit, man, I don't know. You named, like, fucking 35 restaurants.
But that's, like, all of them, I feel like.
That's all right. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Man. So, shit, where were we in the story?
LA.
You're in LA. How long did your time last in LA?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And you left there when you were still at Animal?
I lived there at Son of a Gun.
Or Son of a Gun, yes.
Yeah. So I met Michael Vottiger, which is how I ended up in Austin.
Gotcha.
At Son of a Gun, and we were roommates.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the girlfriend didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving into West Hollywood
with
him, which is somewhat down the street from Son of a Gun, and we worked there, and we ended up opening up Olame here in Austin.
Yeah.
You know, ended up a few years later, but he's the reason that I ended up in Texas. I never thought that I would end up in Texas. Obviously, I heard of Austin and the music scene. I knew the music scene down here, and then South